Chapter 23 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. Lin Chingyu refused so decisively and even brought up Nanan Hao. Fan Shi held both respect and fear for the savior of the mansion's son. She didn't dare speak much more about it, so she quickly moved past this matter and discussed the Mid-Autumn Festival. Lin Chingyu was a little absent-minded as he listened to her. He'd been careless and he had failed to consider the stage. Lu Xiangsong had lost the ability to carry on the Lu family's ancestral line. Nanan Hao would naturally turn his thoughts towards Lu Wancheng. Although Lu Wancheng has been constantly ill, it wasn't completely impossible if he were to give it his all. That night, Lu Wancheng returned to their room after bathing and found Lin Chingyu directing a puzzling look at him. He suddenly had a bad premonition. "What's wrong?" Lin Chingyu asked. "How have you been lately?" Lu Wancheng smiled and said, "You examine my pulse every day. You would know my condition better than I do." "I'm not asking about your condition as a patient." Lin Chingyu looked down, his sight landing on a particular spot. He gestured with his chin. "Will it still get up?" Speaking of this, Lu Wancheng felt a bit dejected. With grievance in his eyes, "I have been drinking your medicine, and you have the nerve to ask me that?" The side effects of the medicine were temporary. He could recover use of it after a few days of not drinking that medicine, or if Lin Chingyu were to give him an acupuncture session. In other words, whether he could get it up or not depended on whether Lin Chingyu allowed him to get it up or not. At first, he felt humiliated, but then he actually came to accept it. Just as Lin Chingyu said, he had no need for it anyway. Lin Chingyu nodded. "Then come find me when you need it, and I will give you an acupuncture session to let you get it up." Lu Wancheng was surprised. "Why would I need to use it?" Lin Chingyu coldly spit out a few words. "To produce a son to continue the family line, to continue lighting incense at the temple." Lu Wancheng was a smart man. He should be able to understand with just these few words. Sure enough, Lu Wancheng gave an enlightened smile. So that's it. Our Chingyu has been given the talk." Lin Chingyu didn't have the patience to go around curves and skirt corners with him. He asked, "Do you want to take a concubine?" Lu Wancheng looked at Lin Chingyu's grave expression and nastily he swallowed down the words. "Of course, I don't want one." That were on the edge of his lips, pretending to be conflicted. "I do, but also maybe not." Lin Chingyu raised his eyebrows slightly. "Speak properly." "The truth of the matter is, I have lived for almost 20 years, and yet I have never even held a girl's hand. Before I die, it seems it would be good if I could experience the feeling of having that soft fragrance and warmth in my embrace. Don't you think?" Ha! Few days ago, he'd been praising him for having had no one else in his room, of having a promising future. Today, he's longing for soft fragrance and warmth? This son of a bitch. Lin Chingyu was about to let out some ridicule when he inadvertently caught a glimpse of the upward arc of the other's lips. He sneered in his heart. Lu Wancheng was obviously deliberately riling him up, and he would lose if he took this seriously. Lin Chingyu asked calmly, "And what kind of woman would you like? Tell me so that I can look for you." Though Lu Wancheng seemed to give it some serious thought, the answer he gave was rather superficial. "Someone beautiful with a good temper and one who won't be so fierce towards me. I see, Lin Chingyu said. Then I will pick one for you tomorrow. Go to sleep. Lu Wancheng was a little dazed. That's it? Go to sleep? Otherwise, what else do you want to say? Lu Wancheng endured and endured, but in the end, he couldn't bear it. He asked through the dividing screen, Chingyu, you don't really want to help look for a concubine for me, do you? According to common reason, I'm your husband. Lin Chingyu bantered back. Husband? Where did I get that? I only have a brother with a different surname. I'm just helping myself find a sister-in-law. In the future, your children will call me Uncle Lin. Lu Wancheng couldn't help beating his chest and stamping his feet. Can you stop bringing up that thing about us being sworn brothers? Why shouldn't I bring it up? Lin Chingyu sneered. Who was it that was making a fuss at the time, wanting to be close friends with me? Who wanted to call each other brothers? Lu Wancheng was momentarily choked. Then I regret it now. In any case, back then we didn't make a proper oath with blood, so it doesn't count, alright? No, it's not alright. A brother for a day is a brother for a lifetime. Then, according to what you said, a husband and wife for a night makes a bond of 100 nights. Indeed, Lin Chingyu ruthlessly exposed him. But you weren't the one who performed that marriage ceremony with me. Lu Wancheng was so stifled that he was left speechless. Clutching his pillow, he gnashed his teeth. Why the hell didn't I come a day earlier? After that, Lu Wancheng went to see Nanan Hao himself. The two of them were locked in the study and no one knew what exactly was said. But Nanan Hao spent an entire night in the ancestral hall and he started growing a lot more grey hairs. And that was how the matter of Lu Wancheng's concubine was left at loose ends. The Mid-Autumn Festival was right around the corner. There wasn't much left on the scorching summer heat. The sweet-scented osmanthus flowers were in full bloom in the courtyard. Summer clothes were thin for the weather, but people were reluctant to put on many more layers, as though this would stave off midsummer for a while longer. The world bursts with life in spring and withers away in fall. Since ancient times, every autumn is sad and lonely. Lin Chingyu mood was also being affected by the season. For several days now, he has been feeling gloomy. He donned on a cold expression for everyone. He shut himself in the study all day, and the meals Hualu served him would go untouched. Lin Chingyu himself hated how depressed he was. How could he possibly not know that being depressed was useless? It was a pity that he still couldn't shift his emotions so easily. He was looking blankly at his book when the door opened with a creak and Lu Wancheng walked into the study with a plate of snacks. He said with a smile, Chingyu, look at this yummy snack I bought for you. Lin Chingyu said, Thank you. You can just set it down there. Lu Wancheng wasn't satisfied. How perfunctory. You didn't even look at it. Lin Chingyu glanced at it. It was a newly baked, sweet-scented osmanthus cake. He thought it may have been made from the sweet-scented osmanthus tree in the yard. I have seen it. You can leave now. Lu Wancheng made no move to leave. Lin Chingyu knew he was looking at him, but he didn't feel like responding to him. He tried to continue reading, but a certain someone's sense of presence was so strong that he couldn't concentrate. He closed his eyes, then raised them and said, Is there anything else? Lu Wancheng said softly, Chingyu, you're angry. His tone was that of complete and certain assertion. Lin Yu said calmly. I'm not. He wasn't being duplicitous. He was indeed not angry now. He simply didn't feel like talking. Is it because I laze around too much in bed now? I have made you angry? Lu Wancheng went round Lin Yu, sticking his head to look around. Then I won't sleep anymore, okay? Lin Yu chuckled. You? Impossible. Lu Wancheng was also very self aware. It does seem quite unlikely. Then what will get you to cheer up? Lu Wancheng sat down next to him, resting his chin on the table and looking at him. I could let you touch my abs. Oh no, I don't have any abdominal muscles now. Then I could let you pat my head, he said as he moved his head closer. Aw, see, you're so sweet. Lin Yu covered his eyes with one hand and pushed Lu Wancheng away with the other. Just let me be alone, okay? Lu Wancheng agreed, though he was very reluctant to do so. All right, but remember to eat something. As soon as Lu Wancheng walked out of the study, Huan Tong immediately came up to him. Young Master Hao, how is he? Lu Wancheng shook his head. Huan Tong was a little anxious. What's the matter with young master? He hasn't eaten anything all day. Lu Wancheng thought for a while and said, It's probably not about me. Otherwise, he would have immediately told me to take a hike back there. By the way, when is the Imperial Medical Office going to post the list of passers? Huan Tong had a sudden realization. It's today. Sure enough, Lu Wancheng looked back at the thin silhouette on the window. This is difficult. It definitely won't be easy to coax him. Huan Tong was weighed down with worry. What should we do then? What can we do? Lu Wancheng said lazily. I'm going back to sleep. Huan Tong was greatly disappointed. How could young Master Hao be like this? You are too eager to retreat in the face of difficulties. Lu Wancheng tapped on Huan Tong's head. Believe me, your young master just wants to be left alone right now. So let's not bother him. Besides, I believe he can adjust his mood by himself. Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief when he heard the footsteps moving further away. In the past, when Lin Yu felt vexed about anything, he could always calm down by losing himself in the company of his medical books. But now he tried to stare at every word of the book, but couldn't get in the mood. He was feeling impatient, rash, restless, unable to sit still. He couldn't get his heart to settle down. Lin Yu left the Blue Wind Pavilion by himself, walking aimlessly around the mansion. The garden was covered in fallen leaves. They knew all too well that autumn has arrived. When he first arrived at the Hao mansion, it had been snowing. Charcoal braziers had been burning inside the mansion, but in the blink of an eye, more than half a year had already passed. Nanan Hao was off and out, and both Lu Xiaosong and Liang Shi were recuperating behind closed doors. Lu Nian Tao was wearily rushing between both sickbeds. Before he knew it, he had become the true master of the Hao mansion. The servants were both respectful and fearful in his presence. No one seemed to remember his base humiliation, marrying into the Hao mansion as a male wife through a Chongshi. Lin Yu looked up at the tall vermilion closed wall stretched out in all directions. It was like he could still hear the cry of the hawkers from outside. What a lively scene it must be at the entrance of the Imperial Medical Office, 4 streets away from the Hao mansion. His former classmates, those who were inferior to him, those who were jealous of him, were they all standing in front of that list, searching for their names with both fear and anticipation? If his heart hadn't gone soft with compassion for Lu Wancheng, letting him live for half a year more, where could he be at this moment? As the autumn wind blew, Lin Chinggyu spread out his hand, letting the sweet scented osmanthus fall into his palm. He made a wish. He was willing to fast for 7 whole days in exchange for the people he detested to fall off that list. Oh my gosh, feel like a spiteful man. See, he's like, instead of wishing for, I should have been passed, he's like, I want all those bastards to just fail the exam. Oh gosh. That's right. This was the kind of petty person he was. He simply couldn't bear seeing the people he hated live better than he did. Lin Chinggyu imagined Tan Shi's expression as he failed once again and felt a little better. Suddenly, there was a rush of footsteps behind him. He turned around and saw Huan Tong running towards him out of breath. Young master, it's time to celebrate. What is there for me to celebrate? Tan Shi failed the exam. Lin Chinggyu was surprised. Huan Tong said excitedly. In addition to Tan Shi, there was also Wang Gongzi, who said you look like a woman, and Lang Gongzi, who slandered you, saying you cheat on the quizzes. Young master, all of them failed the exam. Isn't this cause for celebration? It was only then that Lin Chinggyu came back to his senses. Did you go to the Imperial Medical Office? Yes, I went to see the list released by the Imperial Medical Office. Who asked you to go? As soon as Lin Chinggyu finished asking, he already knew the answer in his heart. It was young master Hao, Huan Tong said. He said young master would surely want to hear it. Lin Chinggyu was experiencing a complicated feeling he couldn't put in words. Why did Lu Wancheng know even this secret and vicious thoughts of his? Just who is he? Lin Chinggyu threw down the sweet scented osmanthus in his hand. Let's go back. Returning to the Blue Wind Pavilion, Lin Chinggyu instinctively looked for Lu Wancheng's figure. Though Lin Chinggyu didn't see him, he heard a clear whistle like a cry of an oral. Following the sound of the whistle, he saw Lu Wancheng sitting on the porch with his back leaning against the railing. His posture, as always, was lazy and casual. When their eyes met, Lu Wancheng lowered the hand he had by his lips that he'd used to whistle. The final note of the whistle seemed to carry a smile. You're back. Come and eat. The young man leaned against the porch railing. He smiled, free from any worry of this mortal world. Lin Chinggyu thought to himself. He gave up a once-in-3-year exam in exchange for half a year of this person in front of him. No matter how he thought of it, he had lost out. Fortunately, that vessel of Lu Wancheng's had been pretty good. It seemed it wasn't a complete loss. Lin Chinggyu smiled, as faint as the moon in the sky. All right. Oh, see how Lu Wancheng know how to make Lin Chinggyu feel better. It's like, let's go and find all the people who kind of talked back to my wife and see if they failed. I'm pretty sure if they failed, my wife will be so freaking happy and eat the snacks I got for him. Oh gosh, I need to stop. I'm always associating wife with she and her, and I'm unconsciously saying that. But you know whom I'm talking about. It's Lin Chinggyu.